train it's gonna be, where we're all gonna see Ground Zero either collapse or Rewound come home with an easy victory. 2-0 it would be in case Terrorist Sign is finding success throughout the entire course of this map. First, we need to see if that's going to happen. After Overpass seemed promising, things turn around, and Rewound wearing a driver's seat by then. Finding the first connector player is a decent initial situation, as frags are not really coming in left, right, and center. In the moment I say it, things of course turn around, the Glock strike, and only 2 players remain. Only 2 more on that CT site. But as Moe's falling, chances fall with him. Pistol round belonging to the T's. And as I do before every time we go into a proper buy round, statistically speaking, and this is all I'm saying, we have very low sample sizes for both Ground Zero and Rewound. Ground Zero have played this map 3 times, lost it 3 times. Went though, which is quite nice to see actually, into overtime and into a 14-16 loss against Avant. The only real problem they had was against Genuine, where they played 6-16. So Rewound is losing already 2 players. Things are looking somewhat sinister. The scout strikes, which is always a very nice thing. This triple scout setup is something very usual by now we see on terrain. It makes a lot of sense because of all the long-range tools, and when you're forcing through, you're assisting your deagles besides that to do like just simply one-shot body shots. Valiant's realizing that he forgot a bomb, by the way. And this is now quite uncomfortable because you have multiple long-range angles now to cover. Talking about it, this is brilliant. Headshots the first, gets the second, not yet. Keto still wants to have a say in this, and he does, making it all quite possible. Everybody is tagged, everybody is a one-shot for the scouts by now. And there's the ending for Rewound. And let's see. Oh, talking about it, to see what's going to happen. It could have looked better in the end. Very much looking forward to the scout of Nausea. If it's going to help the Deagles have an easier time. Patience is there. It's Moe. It's gonna be taken out. I mean, a bit of damage dealt. Alright then. The Deagle with brutality it strikes. But no more chance for Valiant. He proved us that he has the capabilities of doing frag movie worth shots, but yeah. And at 2-1, Ground Zero again pick this map. On the CT side, if you want to dominate on one specific, if you want to dominate whilst being CT or T, you should pick CT. The map itself, very beneficial for the defenders. Here's the players up on the bomb wagon. Either way, this round should not be able to work in any way. 1 and 2. Everything just looking fine. Those CTs are strong enough to get a third one on the board. As the players obviously decide they're just playing all around it. This is so brilliant. Triple kill secured. The control doesn't go to the 4th. But what an aggression from Ground Zero. Very unusual to see that from the CTs. The round just collapsed in a matter of seconds. Couldn't even comprehend what's happening in the meantime. And that's a bit shocking, maybe. Zemp on just casual 10 frags. Casual 10 frags are very casual from time to time. Only bouncing through. A double kill he gets with ease. So, the run starts, no real high hopes I have. The op works to some degree, it only works to, exactly, some degree. Let's see if actually Ground Zero is able to create chaos on a regular basis. A thing I want to remind you though, it was Overpass where the crew around Panic was leading 6-1 and then started to collapse. Started to collapse massively. I don't want to say that's yet to happen, but you know how it is. So Rewound. Position 3 players back towards Ivy. One retreating to pick the bomb. That should be Noisia. And this is a dangerous life. It's such a dangerous life for Semp. I mean, he's waiting behind the box. He's gonna hear the utility. It would be time for him to consider maybe turning around or throwing a piece of his utility. On the other side, he wants to keep control of main. He does not want to give that up under no circumstance. Now he realizes it's getting a little hot, and then the unfortunate timing comes in. The main player pushes through. He had the control throughout the entire time, but suddenly it starts to collapse. Is he gonna... No. Go for a jump? No, not the case. His teammate is going to take that over, and not sure if Lammas is on the radar. As he flanks around and stays in connector, nobody of Ground Zero even knows that he's nearby. Nobody has an idea, and that could be just his clutch. Finds the second, but with ease. It is gonna be nobody else than Void securing the round for his squad. But it got dangerously close. He could feel the heat. And that's the last thing you really want to feel when the rounds are getting more and more important. Money there for rebounds due to the bomb being dropped and a losing bonus. Nevertheless, another round lost towards the end. The Australian squad, the Australian squad of Ground Zero, we have to specify that a little. There it goes. Brilliant start for Rewound. Finally a frag found, but as Void already collapsed, it's a bit problematic. Ivy is the main aggression point, and that split seems fairly immediate, but it's gonna be delayed due to the molly. No smoke thrown to deny that. And the sound cue was there. It's now obvious. It's now known. They know where all the players are. They don't need to worry any further. The bomb can't go pop dock as it's waiting back on Ivy, but the frags opening up major opportunities. That's the second round loss for Ground Zero. I want to remind you, we were at a 6-1 on Overpass when things started to collapse. Yet again, it's a little deja vu. It doesn't need to mean anything, it's just a little deja vu. A small one. And that buy is so pivotal. That buy from Ground Zeroes could be a turning point for the entire Rewound setup. Again, hardly anything left in the bank account. No big bucks to reinvest into anything, really. And if a 6-3 comes our way, then things start to get sinister. Then the dark clouds are going to raise above the heads of Ground Zero. As CTs send panic in for an aggressor. It's so difficult to now predict with those 35 seconds what's about to happen, because you either explode on the side with in total 202 HP on 3 players, with Moe having such a comfortable position. It's first. And it's already access denied. It cost them nearly too much time. Moe is down. They have to run on it. They have no other option than instantly accessing this bomb site. 13 more. That can't be happening. Under no circumstances can be happening. And there it goes. Ground zero. They don't let their opponent get a second consecutive round. And the second consecutive round. It's still problematic. It's still a little more interesting to see what's going to happen when sides are being switched. Yet again, Rewound playing a very, very similar default, sending 2 towards Ivy, gaining a bit of control. As the smoke fades, first frag is there. Moe to taken out. That's making Ivy a quite vulnerable spot to take at the moment. But a Rewound, they stay scattered around the map. Of course, both players in front of B could go down Pop Dog anytime soon, and they play an A split. And at this point in time, it pretty much looks like that. It pretty much looks exactly like that, because they're faking it out through the smokes, said, I'm gonna baboozle you. The problem, though, is it's so time-consuming. They're wasting, or more likely spending, so much time that at one point, also Ground Zero are going to realize, hold on, this could be just a massive fake, because the smokes are fading, and they still have not made it onto the site. Talking about that. Frags are coming in, the awkward reign supreme on 2, and suddenly it's all man equalized. Yet again, 20 seconds, a player waiting in connector. There you go. Absolutely astonishing. 10 seconds. I have my doubts why DNA is going to make that work as I say it. He reigns supreme on his opponent, who unfortunately thought there's going to be a plant pulled through. This is, if you're wondering, about a ticket to the Asian Minor. We're not yet in the stage to see who's gonna grab the ticket, but everybody tries to advance. Ground Zero and Rewound are right now in the lower bracket. Whoever wins this is gonna play against Order to then land in the championship bracket. Simple and easy. Ground Zero is finding at least a few frags. More likely one, pardon me. That Deagle. I don't really believe it's going to play a pivotal role. It doesn't. It does play some role to see the scout what it does. I mean, you never know. Tantalizing to switch to the AK. Basically what Void does, but you can't stand a chance there. Whilst in the meantime, that is what I was worried about. Panic finding one. Was looking for a little more. And so Rewound. They sent their opponent into an eco. Brilliant circumstances to get at least 5, if not 6. 6 would be outstanding for a T-side. And you have to say that for a T-side where your opponent was dominating you for most of the time. Talking about that. Getting easily out, pushing through. No real problems. And as I say that, it's panic finding one. Akito cleans up, swipes and weeps the floor with the body of his opponents. And Moe can say his last Jesus Christ. Moe can say his last prayer. The soul of God has turned into me to not abuse his word for Counter-Strike. I'm very sorry. And there you go. And what's maybe a bit of an interesting information for you guys, I think it's, especially for the Australian scene, very interesting. It was Paradox who lost against both Order and Ground Zero. And the sad part for Paradox is, if I remember correctly, they're right now in the third place of the Australian MDL, so definitely extremely decent, but they had to play with two stand-ins because two players were under the age of 16. In Germany, you're not allowed to play Counter-Strike under the age of 16, so simply that was the reason. Now, let's take a look, though. Which supremacy is going to come in, and at the moment, superior firepower established by Ground Zero. The eco beforehand had tell us nothing about their actual state, and from behind a lurk is already initiated. So YDNA, gotta see where he ends up on. In the meantime, eliminate. No real doubt, no real problem. Yet again, 5 rounds are okay to work with if you know what you're doing on the CT side. I mean, that is the pivotal aspect, right? You need to know what you're doing on the CT side. And if you have a great defensive setup, why not? It's still a more CT side map, especially when your op is just flourishing. You can rely on that aspect. You can massively rely on that aspect. In the meantime, relying on something works. To rely on YDNA was the right idea. The molly's still spreading, though the smoke was still up. It's very interesting to see. It's a flashbang that pops. He felt very safe, but not like this. More to come, more to come. And that's gonna be Panic, who still survives with 4 HP, but this entire system seems to collapse. The bomb moves over to B. Oh, and this is so nice, but Burn brings Keita down to 1 point of health. The flames so near are so dangerous. And slowly he sneaks, sees the feet. Yes, indeed. YDNA is the only one to make it work. There's his shadow. And as he jumps up, takes him down in the meantime. Rewound, bring it into a 6. So double digits tonight is already something in the right direction. And it's not illegal. I really phrased it wrong. I mean, you are just not allowed because the regulations of the... You know PEGI, right? You know what PEGI is. And German PEGI is not allowing... It has restricted Counter-Strike to be bought by people over the age of 16. So you're basically not allowed... I mean, you are allowed, but you're not allowed to buy it. And you, of course, then you cannot show younger people under the age of 16 playing this game when they're actually not able to obtain it legally. They themselves. You maybe get what I'm saying. Maybe I'm just saying nonsense. Who knows? God's plan. Whatever. Either way, Ground Zero in a mixed situation with 2 scouts yet again, setting themselves up mainly towards A. Ivy control has always remained identical for Rewound. Never ever they swapped this system up. Never really they changed it. And what's also funny, Ground Zero never really tried to take Ivy control either. So they were never trying to throw a flashbang and a deep smoke in it. Something like that. Never I've really seen that if I remember correctly. And the problem is, for example, Panic is standing on a pedestal. Up there he is, Harry Potter, aka Void, still reacts in time with his teammates. And so they realize there must be a second because this man was boosted. as the steps very much verify what Panic figured out himself. It's just 30 seconds. Not much more time to get on any of those bomb sites. This builds pressure. Take a look at it. It's actually one player rotating off. Oh, and this is so good because this forced them all away. This is going to be just the B side taken, and that is so unfortunate. This is extremely unfortunate. Zemp thought it's going to be just the A site as the Ivy player fell, then rotated a little too late and got taken out in between. Rewound with only 2 players need to see how they can turn this one around. And the shot from the scout through the tiny angle didn't work really. One more left is Moe. Eliminated. He is 8-7. That is a bit surprising. And actually getting this far ahead in this match, well, yet again, take a look at it. We were at this point, it was 7-2, and a 7-2 sounds like at least you need to get like 10 rounds or so, but the air is getting thinner and thinner, the options are getting lesser and lesser. Then we saw the reset, somewhat reset, the eco coming in, and that of course breaks you. And a thing I've tried to figure out was yesterday. We have the time, the match is paused. A thing I tried to figure out... You know what, we're going to talk statistics beforehand, because I don't want to seem like this caster doesn't know too much. I mean, look at me, on the other side. It's what's somewhat interesting to see, especially from the side of Rewound, is they were on the T side, where you most likely play highly sophisticated executions. Noja on 27 enemies flashed, the rest hardly did anything. It's very interesting to see, which of course puts him in a support role very obviously. Unfortunately, I don't know who's IGLing for the side of Rewound. I could imagine it's actually Noja. It would make a lot of sense from what we have seen previous, and also how he deals with utility. On the T side, you don't do too much utility damage, not like on the CT side. Either way, after we talked smart stuff, a thing I tried to figure out yesterday, and that was actually during Paradox versus Order, I tried to figure out what is the most Aussie thing to say, which you can say to your mother and your girlfriend's mother. So, which is polite, and at the same time, everybody's going to realize the man's from the kangaroo country. What is that? I didn't figure it yet. I learned a very aggressive South African words at the CSA qualifier recently, which started with a P. South Africans are amazing. And now I'm trying to figure, what is it with Australia? I mean, I know a few, you know, there's the big famous C word, you know, but I don't want to count that. It's too aggressive. Like I said, you must be able to say that to your own mother and, you know, the mother of your girlfriend, if that makes sense. Or boyfriend, alternatively. I shouldn't have asked the question, should I? Well, still technical issues we have, and it seems to go a little longer. Suddenly questions occur about the UEFA file yesterday, the Champions League. Honestly, didn't follow it. I honestly don't care much about football. I mean, I don't know who still cares about football in 2019, but yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Either way, so far, we've seen a few teams eliminated of this tournament, of this qualifier. Genuine, Paradox, and PC419, which I learned used to be a case modding crew, or a PC modding crew, who then started sponsoring teams and streamers. Amazing. The story I liked a lot, especially behind their name. And now we're trying to figure out who's gonna advance further. Order already beat Genuine, as said. Now they are in the finals of the lower bracket to advance to the championship bracket. And Rewound versus Ground Zero. We're gonna see what's gonna happen with them. Or is it? No, I thought looked like it. How's it going, mate? Is very Australian. I think everybody in this world said, how's it going, mate? I mean, it's just my guess. Just my wild guess in this one. I never would really say that anyone in this world does not say how's it going outside of the Australians, so either way. And this is where we start a different discussion, right? This is where we start a different sort of discussion about something. I don't know how much this sounds very odd, maybe. I don't know how much Game of Thrones is a thing in Australia, but please tell me I'm not the only one who was very mad at season 8. I know this is a redundant topic, but I still want to just briefly in 1 minute, right? I'm gonna use 1 minute to explain you why. Why in God's name would you set up the White Wanderers to be the sickest mofos in the world? You know, the Night King comes and talks to your girlfriend. What do? You know, what do? You take a, what is it called, Dragonstone dagger and stab him. What in God's name have the writers of Game of Thrones thought when building this up to be the sickest army in the world, and then suddenly a girl 1.50 meters tall is gonna stab him playing some Assassin's Creed and just do 360 no scope on him? As if it was 1 minute in this entire thing that changed stuff. It was highly disappointing. It was highly disappointing. And this is where I have to say that was absolutely obnoxious. I'm sorry, I might sound harsh on this, right? But nah. This Panic Room is singing some sort of song. I don't know which one it is. What? This actually reminds me of what he's saying. This reminds me of Mark Webber singing was it the Canberra Milk? No, it was different milk. What was it called? Mark Webber Milk. What kind of milk kid? That was Canberra Milk Kid. Yeah, right. Okay. That's what reminded me of with what he said then. I mean, my tears don't fall down and crash around me. Alle rada heedy dee woo. Abida e. I don't know what that is. I don't really know what that is. And there's no more pause, and no admin has reacted to it yet. Four more seconds. Actually, the player got back. Uh-oh. They're gonna play. They mean business, don't they? Yeah, they mean business. Yep, they mean business. And as, unfortunately, Burn has just now returned, like a second too late. And as we're about to see, a little man with very nice facial hair. Can we actually see that model a little more detailed? Hold on. Where's this going? I know where this is going. I would very much like to know what happens right now in the TeamSpeak. I mean, the kissing was very, very, very intensive. Look how he's smiling. How can a terrorist smile so much? This is such a this is a friendly neighbor who's like lending you milk when you want to bake a cake or something. I don't know. I never baked a freaking cake. What do I know? He's looking very friendly. No, stop. How can anyone be a terrorist with such a smile? I mean, this guy looks dead serious, right? He means business. This one, he means business. This one? No wonder he's the profile picture of the Twitter account of Counter-Strike. I'm not really surprised. I mean, take a look. This guy even wears a tank cap. But this one, I mean, all grim faces. All grim faces. But this one, that's a smiley dude. That's a really smiley dude. How's it looking with the CTs? Okay, no face. No face. No face. No face. Okay, yeah, that's how. That was worthless. Okay, I was just really hoping for something. And if you ever wondered, who's that nerd? That's Lenin. This is Mr. Lenin, who had major impact on Russian history in the beginning of the 20th century. Come on, kids, we make this an educational lesson. As Mr. Vladimir Lenin was born on the 22nd of April, He was a revolutionary politician, blah blah blah, childhood, revolutionary activity. Lenin moved to Petersburg, I don't know, something Marxist or revolutionary cell. Take a look at the odds. Hey, that doesn't work, hold on. Things don't get better here. I'm very much sorry, we have some technical difficulties on one of the player's side. That happens, that is no big deal. Otherwise, let's see if it works this time. Hold on. Yeah, there you go. The odds are definitely preferring Rewound right now due to the map 1. That makes sense to me. Ground Zero, I mean, it's their map. Could work quite well. Oh, I am from Germany. To answer your question, Sashi, but this is Mr. Lenin, and he really started breaking out was, let me see the, I want to see the revolution, because he started, didn't he start the November Revolution? Was it 1917? February Revolution? No, October Revolution, exactly. I should read this in German and translate it into English. It makes it so much easier for me. Hold on. Yeah, exactly. Okay, there we go. He was actually, in 1917, in the beginning of 1917, he was actually making the Russian monarchy collapse due to a revolution he was part of, and the Bolsheviki, which were the working class, basically, if I'm not, remember, I could be wrong. Don't be sure about that. But anyway, the Bolsheviki came, were able to obtain the power back then, and that was a civil war happened and things like that. Things like that. I really should have paid more attention. More attention. But if you really want to know your basic history facts, this is Lenin. The guy afterwards was Stalin. Both were not very kind, to put it that way. They were, yeah. So forget about this guy. Let's fly around train. I'm gonna take you around this is MTV Cribs showing you around. I think, where's the music? I think I was once casting train. Where's the music? Here. And one guy told me this music, I'm gonna fun fact you the hell out of it right now, that this is actually Chechenian music. This is not Russian or anything. Something like that. I don't know. History or seshed. I would be down. I would be very much down. Those are the showers. Could actually be reworked once in a while. Panic telling us that his armpits smell like Dorito Mexico cheese flavor. What the hell do? I would recommend showering. I don't know if that has been invented in Australia, but I would imagine. Oh, Jesus. Oh, disgusting. This is the prac room. Bolsheviki and Mensheviki were wings of... Yes, exactly. Thank you. What do I think of Karl Marx? What do you imagine me to answer? What is the right answer to that? There used to be a city in the GDP in the eastern part of Germany that was actually used to be called Karl Marx Stadt, which is now, if I am not totally wrong, Chemnitz. Yes, exactly. Anyone else watch Chernobyl on HBO? I heard it's also on Sky Ticket. I mean, I don't know how it is in Australia. In Germany, you can't get HBO Go, which is a shame. If you're wondering what's happening, the matter of fact at the moment is it has to be restarted at the beginning of the second half. Oh no, I mean, every time Panic writes something, I'm very much looking forward. The inside of smaller marmots It's a small marmot. Hold on, I need to translate that. What? The inside of a small marmot is like... Okay, I'm not the only one who didn't know what a marmot is. That's very important. Okay, I'm not feeling ashamed now. I'm not feeling ashamed now that I had to... Oh, thank you, Valiants. I appreciate that. I really didn't know what to think of. What is a marmot? Jesus Christ. Can you commentate the match, maybe? Sure, I will commentate. I will commentate a match which isn't live, for sure. And yet again, you can drop the message to every of your friends and family. Oof. Well, hold on. Thank you. You can drop it to everybody of your friends. This match is not live. We still wait for round number 16 to be restarted, as this was unfortunately a technical problem that occurred. And therefore, that's the problem. I'm not going to listen to that negative. It's horrible. No, good guy Noja actually saying he would give the round to... They give the pistol to them. Canary reset first map. I was lacking. And there we go! Yes! If the backup is a... Okay. That's a bit of an aggressive backup. Good luck if I... There we go! Yes! We've done it! We're at it! And we have made it work! Whoa! Very nice. Finally, we can actually get back to the game. Spawns are messed up. Free pistol. Ah. And as we are actually waiting for the unpause, I think it is the admin who then has to do that. And now we can actually go live. Quickly to remind you what actually happened, Ground Zero was the team to unfortunately lose on Overpass. Rewound, we're looking like it would be sinister times that are coming their way. Now, we're finally back with it. Now we can finally start it up. Talking to Chet has come to an end. And Rewound, the team to now prove that they can get a 2-0. I'm very much looking forward to that. As Moe tries to mow down a few more. I mean, they're already out main. This is going to be a bit problematic in the end. Pistols are working so well, and suddenly Autodirector doesn't want to show us what's happening. Moe falls down finally. And there it is. All looking good. 8-8. Rewound took their time to talk about it, what happened, most likely. There we see the scout setup, which is so lovable on the CT side. I mean, Keto can prove himself with that as usual. The Glocks are the only thing running down the B site, and that is the perfect weapon for it. It's the meat grinder. And the meat grinder, that works quite well. This was like grabbing the tail of a dog. And the Glock though, can't do much, of course. Rewound take the lead by now. There we finally see the buy coming in. The AKs on every single individual of Ground Zero. Then, indeed, it's gonna be just coming down to that setup from Rewound. Because the matter of fact is, yet again, of course, after this round it would be 10-8 in case Rewound wins. Will be Ground Zero economically not looking that strong? Do they have this enhanced losing bonus? Now the patience is there, but actually that patience could have been so good to see. Up on the pedestal he now stands, and this is making a bit problematic. And the MP9, it reigns supreme once more. That B-side, fairly ruinable. Only one man who's gonna change this one around. Could be Moe. Doesn't really stand a chance. The AUK is just the weapon to have. Switched from Keto to now grab the AWP. And Rewound, they're going to meet basically a team without anything. Sure, we see a ZZ, a Deagle, and a bit of utility on Burn, but otherwise, that should be number 11 for Rewound. As there, the aim practice started. Standing up there sometimes connected with a bit of danger. Either way, things are looking too easy and too good. It's Valiant picking up the final frag, and now we're not here at do or die. We're a little bit somewhat far away from it. I mean, the losing bonus is now going to be a big friend of Ground Zero in case they're continuously losing. I want to doubt that's going to happen, because I don't want to see that's happening for Ground Zero. This is their mapping. This is where you would expect them to prevail and show the world what they're made of. And the funny part for me personally was, in the previous round, we saw also Ground Zero actually take a fairly aggressive stance. Executing at the 1 minute mark is not the most usual thing, especially on this map. In the meantime, we see a sad story for the man Zemp, down to 3 HP. And when you're down to 3 HP, things could start to look just a bit sinister. Either way, there it is, the 45-second execution. Players set themselves up for more of an A-side take. If they have an idea where Noja is, that would be great. Panic goes in first. Executed he is, and the retreat is so intelligent to not just fall into the line of sight of any further opponents, but Noja is going to fall down to Void in the end. The bomb, though, is dropped. Pressure is high for Ground Zero, and this is making it all a bit more problematic. Valiance realizes what's about to happen. And that one final frag comes in so beautifully. As this is nothing else than pure domination from Rewound so far. 5 rounds in a row they have won. We'll quickly take a look at the money, we'll realize should be affordable to make a buy. I mean, Panic doesn't have too much spare then. Same goes for the other few. I mean, especially Zemp is gonna suffer here. So, it is the buy. As said, coming in with a few players not so well equipped regarding the economic department, a part of the utility department, and this double kill. Oh, it's looking so beautiful. The control just belongs to Rewound, as though mid-air the op has been taken out. YDNA falls, but nevertheless, Harry Potter hardly stands a chance in such a sinister situation. Could see the player in connector. But maybe he doesn't see the same smoke as we do. And so Noja comes even around before the bomb is planted. No economic bonus for Ground Zero. C4 on the ground. That would be splendid. After looking a bit shaky in the beginning of Overpass, the CTs found their way to success after focusing through and getting it done. At this point in time, this aggression is going to be rewarded massively. Another frag that's maybe granted? No, not really. A little too much he wanted, but understandably, he didn't feel too worried. And the Arc in the hands of Void, no time to be worried. This is fast. This is shockingly fast from Rewound. And it's Ground Zero who seemingly don't have any answer to it. Not once. They're really showing us any opportunity where we would have some sort of belief in it, where we would say, okay, this is going to be close. Rewound, they just seem to blossom. There's no way. I mean, that's always a little bit, you know, easy to say, but there seems to be not too much they're gonna give Ground Zero, except they're gonna lose their focus or something similar. They got a fresh canvas to paint on when they switched over to the CT side, and they're using it to create not yet a masterpiece, but definitely something extremely solid. Keto's aggression in the flames is not going to be rewarded at all. So Lamas and his crew Just waiting out until this entire thing is going to erupt over on the side. Starts off good. And Lamas and Keto finding all the frags needed. Might be already done at that point. The bomb is though hitting the ground. This is putting a bit of pressure on the opponent. And Panic has to survive against 3. And if he's able to prevail, that's a different sort of story. Peeks out wide and gets the first kill. Instantly denied though, as Valiant backstabs. One more round for Rewound. Just a single time they need to prevail yet again to give us something somewhat surprising, I have to say. Wouldn't have believed that's going to be that easy for them on the CT side. They have not dropped a single round yet. This could be the premiere of it. Gonna depend if Valiant and Co are failing. Valiant at the moment most likely doesn't. And as I say it, he's falling down on the ground face first, but only Panic. And he's out. 16-8, and Rewound didn't even drop a map. Pardon, not even drop the round over here on train. Absolutely astonishing.